I started a company called WODprep many moons ago, and it's blossomed into something much bigger than I could have ever imagined. And I'm really excited that we are here with a few key team members, more to be featured in the future as well, but a few key team members of the WODprep team. And we're launching a podcast to help you, the listener, get better at CrossFit and learn things. So I am stoked to be here. Thank you, Charlie.
What's up, guys? My name is Dr. CJ DePalma. I'm a physical therapist in Pensacola, Florida, and I'm also the head coach here at WODprep, and the head one-on-one coach. And I've been at WODprep for, I don't know, 5 years, longer than that now. I think it's going on 6. Ben doesn't know. Ben just hangs around and we run the company. It's fine. Me and Savannah and Charleh just do all the other things. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here to bring you guys some, you know, whatever knowledge of CrossFit that we can bring, and whether that's like the current information being released by headquarters or the season or something about training or whatever. I'm super pumped for this.
Hi, everybody. I'm Savannah, and I'm the Chief of Customer Happiness at WODprep. I also do some coaching for us here at WODprep, and I coach at a box in my hometown. I just love talking fitness, and I really like making CrossFit seem attainable and easy. I remember what it was like to start, and I like to help beginners and intermediate athletes feel confident in their everyday workouts and in competition.
And I am the head of marketing here at WODprep, and I'm here. So everybody else in the team have got some sort of coaching aspects to the company, and I very much come from the athlete's perspective, trying to come out the strategies, using all of WODprep's tips, tactics to get the best out of my score. So I am much more on the ground, feeling those hard workouts.
What part of America are you from? I can't quite pin that accent down.
Yeah. That's very true. I am from Manchester in the UK, so that's the accent.
And then there's Savannah from Montana, easy one to remember, at least Montana for now. And then CJ is from the great, wonderful state of Florida, and I am located in Colorado. So we're from all over the map, and the future guests, team members that we're going to have on here, are from all over the map. So that's what makes WODprep special, is that we have a lot of different perspectives, both from the coaching side of things, but also from all different aspects of the globe. Some of us go to big CrossFit gyms in big cities. Some of us go to tiny CrossFit gyms in very small towns. So we have a lot of good perspective coming in.
No, amazing. No, I'd say we are about 2 weeks out from the Open of 2023. Athletes will be fully in Open prep mode. Coaches have already changed up the workout style. There's already, literally in the last 24 hours, there's been changes to the website. There's been an announcement of dates, schedules, everything about the Open and the season that's coming ahead. And that's why we're talking about our predictions for the Open this year. Now, I'll sort of start with a bit of the context. If this is your very first Open, now I believe we've got some veterans in the room who've done the Open a few times, who will be able to give this context a lot better than I will. So for the room, for everybody, how long has the Open been going on for, and does anybody remember or did do the first Open workout?
I'll chime in first, and then I know Savannah and CJ will have lots to say. So I remember my first Open workout. I had just gone fishing all day, and I came in and I did some atrocious workout. I was super dehydrated, and I got my butt kicked, and I had someone that counted all of my reps, and it was miserable, and I hated it. But I saw all the energy in the gym, and I was just like, man, some of these people are really good. I wonder if I could be really good at this one day. And it sort of started scratching that competitive itch. So the Open is really where I first got exposed to the competition side of CrossFit. And I actually remember I was doing a bunch of traveling, and I did the Open workout by filming it with like old school phones. Like back in the day, my phone, like it was like shooting a video with a potato. And I remember submitting my video to the affiliate in North Carolina, and then they were the ones that judged it. It was like a weird system. And long story short, the second open workout I did, which I submitted via video, the coach was like, none of this counts. She was just like, no, you don't get a score for this workout. And I just felt so bad. Anyway, so yeah, that's my experience with the open. It kind of scratched the competitive itch, and then the rest is sort of history for me.
I mean, for everybody, if you want to know, the open for 11.1 was an AMRAP of 10 minutes of 30 double unders and 15 power snatch. The men's was at 75 pounds, 35 kilograms, and the females were at 55 pounds.
So that first workout was the one that I submitted to my coach because I was at a fishing tournament, and they didn't have bumper plates at the gym that I went to. So the instruction online was, if you don't have bumper plates, you have to basically take the barbell to halfway down your shin. And I had never done double unders before, and I used a jump rope that like the gym had. It was like a Globo gym at University of Tennessee in Knoxville or something like that. And I still remember like doing snatches with this bar and these like little teeny tiny plates on it, and taking it to like halfway down my shin, and then trying to do double unders. I remember I hit my first set of 30 unbroken and like screamed because I was so excited because I did a whole set unbroken. And then, yeah, I submitted it to the coach back at the gym in Raleigh I was working out at. And she's like, none of those snatches count. Not a single one of them. Maybe the first one. And I was just like, oh, shoot. So anyway, that's when I learned about movement standards.
That workout was repeated in 2014. It was my first open workout. So yes, I've done it, which is interesting. It's one of the only open workouts that like they didn't get better that's ever been repeated, that the numbers were not much better, which is pretty interesting. So like the number one score then was, somewhere close to I think the 10 round mark. And then it wasn't even a round more was the best, right? Which is kind of a pretty unique thing because all the other workouts have shown a lot of big growth. But
how's the workouts changed? If the first two were sectionals, before 2011, has the barbell got heavier? Have we seen more advanced movements? What has we seen over the last few years?
I think so. My first open was in 2013, so 13.1 was my first workout, and I feel like at that time, I think CrossFit in general had a sort of different feel entirely. I feel like there was less modifications, less concern for the stimulus of workouts on a day-to-day training basis. And it was really kind of like you were thrown in there and you were going to do what you could do. And it was a lot more difficult, but also a lot more defeating. And I think that the open, I really liked that it was the same challenge for everybody. Although I do think it could be very disheartening at that time because a lot of people would end up not being able to get very far into a workout because there were not as many variations. So I think it was more difficult and you kind of had to go in with a different mindset. So over the years, I think it's absolutely become a lot more inclusive, but it's kind of changed that little hard edge that it had for such a long time. And I think it's also separated some athletes out a little bit more now with the addition of quarterfinals and semifinals. So I really think it's transformed quite a bit over the years.
How is the Open different now to what it used to be? In how many workouts is in the Open?
Yeah, so to kind of piggyback on Savannah, I think the Open up until 2020 hasn't changed as far as the skill level and the intensity. There's a new movement basically all the way through 2021. There was a new movement added. Okay, every year there was a new movement, right? It wasn't a more complex movement, just a new movement, right? I would say the only complexity that really gained over the spectrum of the 12 years that we've been doing this now is the handstand walk, right? The handstand push-up was exposed in 2015 for the first time, the handstand walk in 2018, and then the pistol in 2020. Okay, and so like as far as complexity of movement, all the other hard movements were like in muscle up was there, right? Double unders, high skill gymnastics were in year one, right? In 2011. And so like Savannah said, it was different back then. There wasn't as many modifications. And but the level of athlete was drastically different. Like your best, like Rich Froning in 2011 or 12, 11 was his first year winning. He won the Open, and but like those scores, if we did them now, they would still probably be pretty good, but they probably wouldn't qualify him for a regional, right? And he was the best of the best. But those workouts are still the same difficulty as the new ones that had come out all the way until 2020. 2021 and 2022 is when we made a big change. The workouts went from 5 to 3. COVID made a big impact with that as far as accessibility and doing them at home. And then the whole structure of CrossFit kind of changed as from this kind of like military driver of elitist, I don't know, maybe not an elitist, but the whole concept of CrossFit, right, is everyone can do it, but to be good at it, right, it takes this like massive step. And so they've adjusted the season to be very progressive in nature as far as the Open, or the workouts are a little easier. They're more engine based, more aerobic, lighter loads. And then it kind of progresses up from there, which is before it just like the Open, it held a lot more weight because of the way that the qualifiers work. So, so to answer your question, the workouts are a little bit easier just in these past 2 years. Again, now it could be all change, right? And I'll try not to drag this on, but we have a new director of competition who is probably going to write a different style of workout. So, all of this could be null and void in exactly 15 days. And we see, like 80 muscle ups per time, whatever Boz writes, which is, it's very possible, right? With his background in gymnastics, et cetera. And so 21 and 22, it got easier, more inclusive, even within the weeks, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3, it was progressive of accessible to everyone to more challenging. And the workouts themselves too, if you watch how they build within the same workout, a lot of the time they're progressive in nature, right? So 0.3 last year started with pull-ups, then chest to bars, then bar muscle ups, and a barbell got heavier. It was lighter, medium, and heavier too. And so it's progressive. So people can, like Savannah said, people would get 2 minutes into a workout and just have to stand there. Like if a workout opened with muscle ups, so they haven't done that in a couple of years, and they've given us a lot of people opportunity to do longer aspects of training.
So what am I hearing is that we're all for the change in the recent years of the 3 workouts?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone.
There's no hesitation. It was who's going to answer faster. Going to 3 workouts was a very big sigh of relief for the WODprep family, because we work our butts off during the Open. Me even included, CJ. I work hard during the Open to shoot videos, and the team has a lot of pressure to perform and get people the content and the coaching that they need as fast as possible. So when the Open had moved to 3 weeks, that was fantastic. And then also moving it to being announced earlier in the day rather than, the stupid California time that everyone hates. Rather, like once we moved it earlier in the day, it's like, oh my gosh, now even people in Europe can see the workout and not have to, stay up till 2 a.m. So I really like all the changes. Obviously, the addition of the scale division has been great. Again, just adding more accessibility. And then, like CJ mentioned, I also loved that 3rd workout last year.
So CJ, you did mention the introduction of the handstand press-ups, the handstand walks that obviously got repeated, and also pistols made an appearance. Now, there's 5 workouts, there's 5 movements that have come up repeatedly in each of the different Open workouts. Now, I've got the list in front of me. I'm going to open this up to the room. What is everybody's prediction of what the 5 top movements that have been coming up repeatedly over and over and over again?
I know this answer. This is an easy one. So burpees have technically been the most repeated movement with all the variations of it. Then it's toes to bar, double unders, then thrusters, and is that 4? 4. Probably I said toes to bar, probably chest to bar. I think might be the 5th one. Maybe not. Yeah, I think it's chest to bar.
Anybody else want to contest that?
You can bring on the list, but it ain't right.
Yeah, I don't know if your list is right.
Double unders, muscle ups, that's both bar and ring combined, thrusters, toes to bar, and chest to bar. They've all come up 8 times individually. Burpees, 6.
So I don't know if burpee 6 is accurate in all the variations of a burpee.
I mean, if you guys want to comment below and see if CJ is right or if that's Charleh, is right, let us know.
I would put a heck of a lot more money into the appearance of burpees in this open than I would a couple of the movements on that list, probably, right? So burpees are going to show up. It's whether is it a burpee over a bar? Is it a bar facing burpee? Is it a burpee over a box? Is it it might be this year, like if I had to predict anything, it's going to be a burpee with a dumbbell, right? It'll probably be some sort of like maybe a single arm devil's press or something like that, where you have to basically do the burpee mixed in with something, like a dumbbell. So anyway, or burpee pull-ups, or who knows.
So you're going for the combo. When did Devil's Press come into the Open?
They haven't.
They haven't made an appearance?
The Devil Press is a street parking movement, which is another CrossFit company, which is why I don't think it will ever show face in a licensed CrossFit event, because it is coined, named, and popularized by another company.
It'll be programmed. It's not going to be called a Devil's Press. It'll be called something else. Like they've done that with a couple movements, right? Like pistols. They didn't call them pistols, right? Right. But
pistols, single leg squat.
I think it will come. It'll just be like they'll call it a burpee dumbbell snatch or something like that.
So Ben, that is your prediction. You're going to go for a burpee combined with some sort of dumbbell.
I don't know. I disagree with the boys. I don't think that will happen. I think you'll stick with a regular little burner burpee over the bar or over the box. And I think maybe a new dumbbell movement, although there aren't too many left. I would love a dumbbell overhead squat, but that's just because they're a secret superpower of mine. So you know how you always want what you.
I mean, they catch people out as well. They think, oh, this is going to be super easy, but you start lunging overhead with a I don't know what the pounds is for this, but 15K kilogram dumbbell. Like they get nasty quite quickly.
They are. So the equipment list is different this year, right? So we had a different equipment list, and so up to 2020, it was all the equipment. In 2018, maybe 17 was the dumbbell year, right? And so the dumbbell was introduced, and so up to 2020, all the equipment in a normal gym was needed, right? Except they didn't use kettlebells. 21 and 22, the list was diminished and very minimal, with no rings and no distance, right? The 25-foot marker. Now they've released the equipment list again. They've come out and said that the kettlebells won't be necessary for the Open. But other than that, it sounded like everything was free game. So I think there will be some form of, like, the 25-foot line. I think the shuttle runs will be. I think the shuttle run will make its way into the Open this year, without a doubt. Would be my number one guess. It's accessible to everyone. It's very easy to do, and they expected it back then, and they've made it very clear that you need floor space. So I think the shuttle run is going to make its appearance.
So you think they tested it out in the quarterfinals last year, because that was the first year running?
Yep.
Came in. So you're now like, right, okay, let's
100%.
let's give it to everybody.
Yep, without a doubt. I think that's going to happen.
And an easy standard to uphold.
Okay, now, is there any standards that people would disagree with and either think is going to come back, make an appearance to coming back, or it is gone forever, or there's new standards that are going to come into some of the movements? So if you think, yes, double unders are going to come in this year, do you think crossovers are going to make an appearance? Do we think more standards are going to come in?
I think the single under will also make the appearance in the Open this year as well. I think it'll be part of this progressive build. So I see it similar to 0.3 last year, single under, double under, maybe like single crossover in the Open is like this kind of progressive build of a workout, maybe to finish with thrusters or something like that. Write it here. Put it down. That's what's coming.
CJ's made his word.
Yeah,
Happening.
I probably don't see like I wonder if
think it's
pistols will
hard.
show back up at all. That's a tough one to judge, but it's hard to say what they're going to throw in because like especially now that they are like, hey, you need floor space. They clearly are demonstrating that they care less about the like they care to put on a good test, not necessarily that an affiliate can have 10 heats go at one time, right? Like they're like no longer you having like this little confined box to do your open workout. Now it's like, hey, we're using the whole floor, like, and it's going to be a bit of a headache, I think, for some affiliates to run these heats because if you have limited floor space and a lot of athletes, each athlete doing the workout is going to take up a lot of space. So I don't necessarily think they care if something is hard to judge because what we've seen with the open ever since inception, but especially the last few years is the open does its job at whittling people, like whittling down the top 10%. And then the next stage does its job of whittling it down more. And so does the next, like, we're still going to end up with the fittest people on earth at the CrossFit Games, which technically is what the open is designed for. So I see like the scale division being very accessible, but I see, the RX division will have some things that are probably going to be super annoying to judge. And I don't think they necessarily care about that. They're like, the open is going to do its job, qualify at least the right amount of people or the right people to the next stage. And then they'll get harder and harder and whittle it down from there. But the open will serve its purpose as being accessible and making sure that the right people move on to the next stage. And that's kind of the purpose.
Now, Ben, you have owned an affiliate. If you were going to go into this open and just exactly what you've just said, this is more about testing the athletes than necessarily Friday Night Lights. Do you have any tips that you would give affiliate owners on attacking the open this year if say they need the whole floor space?
I'd probably have, they've come out and said that you need the 25-foot increment, right? So like plan ahead of time, like say, all right, assuming there's a workout where we're going to need this 25-foot floor space, like tape it out, have it ready to go. Don't be caught with your pants down when the announcement comes. And no, I still think the open can very much be a fun social time. In fact, we're dropping a video very soon. If when you're listening to this, listeners, it's probably already released. We're dropping a video. It's kind of a funny video where I talk about like all the negatives of the open, and the negatives are that you're going to have a lot of fun, and Friday Night Lights is a great time to meet people in your gym. Like, so affiliate owners, unless you have really competitive people that are trying to, that are very serious about trying to make it to the next level, just have a good time with it. Like allow your members to do what they want with the open. I know a lot of the local gyms here create like open teams. So they'll have like team captains and then they like draft people and like there's a bunch of teams. And Savannah's saying she's the team captain. But they have these teams and they just have fun and they make a good time out of it. I think that's my favorite part of the open. If I was an affiliate owner, I frankly wouldn't care too much about like the super competition side of things. I would facilitate the competitors because I was one of those and I really appreciated when the gyms that I went to were, they made sure to facilitate me doing what I needed to do to get me to the next level. But the open to me as an affiliate owner is like, this is the time to really pour into my community, give people a reason to come together outside of normal class times and like have a really good time with it and have fun. It's only 3 weeks, so the pressure is like a lot less, I think, on affiliate owners. Make sure you have at least one party in there, preferably the last workout or maybe all three, depending on your gym's vibe. And I would just have a bunch of fun with it. Have events that bring the community together, and there's nothing better than the open to do that.
I'm gonna follow on from that of like why the open is so important and why it's so important to the community. It is a great time to, if you're new, this is your first open, you're new to the gym, to make new friends, to get involved with everybody. And also, this is the biggest reason that I always encourage my friends and that to get involved, even if they're not really into the competitive aspect of it and they're a bit nervous about doing it, some of the workouts, or not even finishing the workouts. They've, like, it is a scary thing. I still encourage people to do it because, we've all done the Open now a few years at least, and we look back at our old scores and you go, oh, damn, I could crush that score now. I reckon if I repeated that, I would beat it by 2 minutes, or I'd get more reps. And whilst it might suck this year if it's your first time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time, it only gets better if you're consistent, you keep working at it, you look at those scores, and then you feel amazing. You go, oh my God, look how far have I come. Like, I just think I could even do this. I didn't think this was even possible, And I think that just having those two benefits is so, so important.
Definitely. I also think that it allows you to have this next level challenge for yourself. And I think that a lot of people who are nervous at the end feel a little more empowered and a little more confident in their abilities, or even in just their own personal challenge of overcoming a scenario that seemed intimidating, right? If you do it in class and someone's judging you and you've never had that experience, you realize that you actually feel supported usually by your judge, by having somebody there near you going through something. You can bond over doing the workouts with people, I think, to that next level. But the coolest thing I heard about Reasons to the Open that really resounded with me was that it's one of the very few opportunities in life that as an adult, you can be surrounded by your peers and be cheered on by your peers. I think that if you don't compete on a regular basis, you don't get to experience that. And even if you do, it might not be everybody that you see on a regular basis who puts the same work in that you do, who's kind of there sending you that energy and really encouraging you to do your best. I think that is a really, really cool feeling that you get to experience in the Open with your gym.
I think the only time that I'm okay with anyone yelling at me is when I'm going to hit a lift. If someone talks to me while I'm in a workout, we have problems. Like instantly, I'm like, get out of my face. Don't talk to me. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know my plan. I don't want to hear anything. If you tell me to go faster, I'm going to eat you.
I need to go to Pensacola, Florida for the Open this year because I know how to get CJ triggered. I'm going to pay someone to show up and heckle you in your workouts.
Especially someone's that is like not very, I don't know. I don't want to say good. Like they don't understand the workout extremely well, or they're new and they're just trying to help. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Okay, hold on. I want to backtrack a second, because what I'm talking about is the general encouragement of your peers. Okay. And on that note, I think maybe we should just touch really quick on having somebody judge you and talking to your judge beforehand about the kind of communication that you want them to do for you. Because CJ is saying that he's going to lose his mind if somebody yells at him or tells him to do something that's off of his plan. However, there are people who really feed off of that. It makes me panic personally, because I also typically have a plan. And sometimes I'll tell my judge, this is my plan. If you can loosely keep me to it, that'd be great. Otherwise, just count very loudly. That's all I need. Don't just, as long as I know what number I'm on, I am good. That's all I need. I think it's so important to express that to your judge so that you don't go Hulk mode like CJ sounds like he might.
Speaking of which, CJ, has there been a workout where it's just gone horribly wrong in the Open? And do you care to everybody's got a story. Care to share?
Like in 2014, I've always been like very cerebral with like how I approach training and like my workout plans. So now there's workouts where I just knew that I was going to just suck at. I'd say the worst one that like scarred me the most was the snatch chest to bar in 2017, because like I wasn't anywhere near what I thought I could get to. Like I didn't get out of the 185 barbell, which was bad. And so that was not good. And then last year's wall walk, burpee box jump over snatch one, I hadn't done a wall walk since the open prior, and I got crushed. It was my worst open score, not a strength based workout ever. Like even from my first year, it was really bad, and I thought I did good. And so that was probably the one that was like, wow, I did terrible. This is not good at all. So made sure that's not going to happen this year. Wall walks, primo. Yeah. Ben, how about you? I'm Ben. I do everything perfect. I don't snatch for months, and then I snatch triple my body weight. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly what Sia just said. Normally perfect. No, I had my biggest like open implosion, and this like it like still hurts even talking about it because I actually was back when I really was training hard for the open. Was the 2014 open. I believe it was 14.4, and it was a workout that was very much in my wheelhouse. It was a chipper AMRAP, 14-minute AMRAP of let's see, 60 toes to bar, 60 cal row, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall balls, 30 cleans, 20 ring muscle ups, 14-minute AMRAP. And that is a wheelhouse workout for me, other than that row, but that was stupid. But everything else there I can smash, especially the high volume toes to bar and the high volume ring muscle ups. The thing that really sucked was Thursday night of the open announcement. I had this like kind of like ingrown hair from cleans. If any of the guys know that I'm talking about, or women with hairy legs know what I'm talking about. I got this like ingrown hair. I got this
I
ingrown
literally have
hair
no idea.
on my quad,
What?
and didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, like this thing's kind of it's definitely a thing. But I woke up on Friday morning and I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. I had a really bad staph infection in my left leg, and it wound up being MRSA. They tested it. It was like pretty gnarly. Long story short is that wheelhouse workout I didn't get to hit until basically Monday evening. I waited as long as I could, try to get off the meds, and I threw up like 3 times during the workout. It was a just complete derailing. And the thing that really bothered me about it is like, I think I was only 3 ring muscle ups away from making it to regionals that year. And like, I redid that workout like a couple weeks later or like a month later once I had, fully recovered and like smashed it. And I was like, man, I could have made it. That was like my one shot kind of to make it as an individual regional athlete. And it totally crashed and burned. Now, I blame it on that specific instance. But if I wasn't so bad at deadlifts and box jumps, or if I had an engine and could do thrusters and burpees over the bar, I would have been fine. But instead, I had to rely completely on my wheelhouse workouts, and having a staph infection for one of them kind of threw me off. So that was like that one really bummed me out. Like I was like puking in a bucket during the workout. It was bad. And still almost made it. But man, that was a great workout. I would love to see that workout repeated. That would be so much fun.
I mean, did you make any changes for the next year?
I did not care about the open the next year. That was the key. Because the next year I actually moved. I moved to Florida to Mako CrossFit, where CJ is currently. And they shifted the regional line. So like how many people made it to the next level from, I think, 48 to 20. And the difference between 48 and 20 is ridiculous. Like I knew that in order to make it to the top 20, my entire life would need to be dedicated to CrossFit, which it kind of already was because I was running an affiliate at the time. And I moved down to Florida and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is not what, like, I do not want to train all day long. I was living with a guy who made the top 20, Brandon Massey, who's done some stuff with WODprep. And like, I just saw his life and I didn't want it. It was just, he trained all day long. He did training, mobility, sleeps, and training and mobility and sleep and food. And then it's just like, I wanted to go fishing and hang out with my friends. So instead of putting all my eggs in the let's make it to regionals basket, I still trained with people, but I refocused my efforts on like building a company, because I needed to do something after owning a CrossFit affiliate. So that's kind of how WODprep was born, was my refocus on, I'm no longer going to be going full send into competing. I'm going to, begrudgingly retire and go fishing a lot and maybe start a CrossFit company on the internet. And that's why we're here right now.
I mean, that's why I ask, because sometimes they're what we call the biggest fails. actually turn into something bigger and better. We're all sat here from around the world talking about CrossFit.
It's certainly, I can look at that as a blessing in disguise, because it certainly made me refocus my efforts. And I'm glad that they moved the line from 48 to 20. That to me was just like, oh shoot, yeah, like I'm fit, but I ain't that fit, and I don't know if I like doing cardio that much to try to get that fit. So I'm out.
Cardio sucks. I mean, my one was the 20.3, which was originally from the 17.4, which was the handstand press ups and deadlifts. So it was keeping handstand press ups with a fairly okay-ish deadlift weight that went into a heavy, the heaviest 100, about 220-pound deadlift into handstand walks. And I went into it thinking, got this. It's a heavy barbell, so my wheelhouse, and it's handstand press ups. That's my jam. Doing overhead head movements, but it was the year with the handstand press up standard of the forearm, of obviously above your height. Now, behind the scenes, me and CJ will have a nice heated discussion on whether the problem is by why I can't hit this standard. I just think I've just got too much bigger booty. It's just not happening. I'm like that far away from hitting the line. Even if I do the straightest handstand press up I can possibly do, I just will never hit that line.
That was the key to several games athletes making it to the games, is filming it from really far away with an obscenely blurry camera. And miraculously, they can post super HD videos and pictures on the internet all day long. But when it comes to the Open,
I mean, I made another mistake as well. I thought, so my boyfriend at the time, I was like, okay, I trust you to be my judge. You should be my judge for this. This is my top tip. Never get your closest friends or get your boyfriend, partner, husband, wife, whatever, to be your judge. This is where we learned the hard way. So obviously I get into this workout. I am flipping, like not getting anything here. It's going so slowly, and it's the only time I really, really just lost it. To the point where my boyfriend had to tap out from being my judge halfway through, and then go and pull in my friend, our other friend, mutual friend, to then tag team in and carry on judging me because it was going that badly. I got to the heavy bar. I did get to the heavy barbell. Didn't make it to the handstand walks, and it was my lesson was to never, ever, ever lose it that much ever in a workout where the judge feels uncomfortable, the judge is not having a good time, I'm not having a good time, and also to keep my composure. And that has stayed with me every single workout ever since that workout. Because that's what I learned. I was just like, this is meant to be a hobby. This is meant to be fun.
Charleh, I had this same thing happen to me in Japan. And this was, so when I moved to Japan, I had a little flurry, a glimmer of, ooh, maybe I will compete again, because to make it to the next level while living in Japan was a lot easier than in the States. Like basically the line to make the top X amount of people to make it to Asia regionals was like, ooh, I can do that. Like I can probably make this. Anyway, so I was doing a workout, and it was one of the, I think it was 2017 maybe, or 2016, where there was bar muscle ups in it. And I had like a nuclear meltdown with my judge, because he just stopped. He like didn't count, nor did he tell me how many seconds I had left. So I like got back to the bar muscle ups, and there was no clock anywhere. He had his timer, and I asked him how much time was left, and he told me something, and he like kind of told me the wrong thing, and then wasn't counting, and then didn't give me a countdown to tell me how much time was left. So like long story short, like I left like 10 reps on the table or 8 reps on the table. That's what I thought. But I like lost it with him, because I was doing it, and he's like, he was like, and time. And I was like, what? What do you mean time? Like I was resting because you told me we had 30 seconds left. He's like, oh yeah, that was a long time. That was like a minute ago. And I'm just like, what? And I kind of lost it on this dude. And it was bad. Like I lost it pretty bad. Like there was people watching. And this was like early on in starting WODprep too. And I came back the next day and I was just like, dude, I felt so bad because I lost it on this guy. I was like, what were you doing? Like, anyway. So I came back the next day and I was just like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like it was my fault that I didn't communicate to you how I wanted to be communicated to, right? He didn't know that I wanted to know when there was 30 seconds left in the workout. He didn't know that I wanted to like maybe try to time the last set of bar muscle ups to finish with a set of bar muscle ups so that, I needed to communicate those things. And I initially wanted to put all the blame on him and be like some pity party. But realistically, it's like the judge, their only obligation is to keep track of time. They don't have to tell you how much time's left and to count. And they don't technically really have to tell you what number you're on, right? Like their obligations are a lot less than I think some of the pressure that we put on them. So like I should have had someone else helping and being my coach and talking to me about the timer and not flipped out on some poor soul who was volunteering his time and energy to judge me. Anyway, long story short, don't forget on your judges, be nice and try to go through the extra mile, exactly what Savannah was talking about, of like, make sure you let your judge know how you want to be communicated with. Do you want them to count up? Do you want them to count out loud? Do you want them to, on their fingers telling you how many reps are left? Do you want them to always shout out the time? Like, there's a lot of things that you need to think through before you have a nuclear meltdown with your judge. And I don't recommend doing any meltdowns with your judge.
And also, go check out, obviously, WODprep's YouTube channel for all the tips, tricks on all the different strategies way in advance before you do the workout. So you got a clear mind on what you can expect from each stage. So you don't get to a bit where you go, oh my God, why is this so hard? Why can't I do this movement? Practice. Watch YouTube, practice things in advance.
Yeah. And also
have a bit of a strategy involved.
Don't ever have your significant other judge you. Ever. Turns out my ex-wife cannot count at all. Solid 5 reps short every single time. And that's probably part of the reason,
Yeah, I'm not together with that partner either. I wonder why. But looking ahead, okay, we are 2 weeks out. What is everybody's game plan? Are you doing the Open? What is your game plan? And 2, what is your favorite movement that you would love to see come up in the next
doing the Open
couple of weeks?
My game plan is I'm not treating it any differently than a normal training session. Like I'm just going to have fun and try to meet people at the gym that I'm going to go to. I'm actually not sure which affiliate I'm doing the Open at because I'm kind of splitting time between 2 affiliates right now. But kind of whichever one has a more fun Friday Night Lights, I'll probably go there, meet people, have fun, and like do it once on Friday and be absolutely done with it. Like I don't want to have any temptation to redo any workouts because it's not my focus right now. So have a really good time. Obviously, try to release some really good content. And if I had one movement that I want to show up, it would be bar muscle ups. Heavy snatch too.
I am going to do the Open. I have never missed an Open, so I am just riding that wave. I am probably not in the most CrossFit-y shape I've ever been in at this moment. However, I love participating and I like to encourage people to participate. So for me, it's about setting a good example for the athletes that I'm around every day and doing the best that I can do with what I have at that time and having a lot of fun. I always love, because they were an arch nemesis for a long time, like skip a workout day sort of nemesis, toes to bar. Now I love them. I'm decent at them. we always get to do them, and it's like a little, just like my heart just like gets a little sparkly about it.
I will 100% do the open. My game plan, there's only one game plan that matters. It is 100% to
In
beat
every
Ben in every workout.
Are you
It's the
insane?
only one that matters.
No chance,
No,
dude.
but everyone. Well, the odds of them, since there's 3 still, the odds of them having a high volume hinge,
I'm out. My back will blow out. No way.
per usual, because Ben doesn't
Valid.
train things he doesn't like to do. No. The way that I do it now, since the open kind of holds less weight for the competitive season, as far as the top 10% go to the next stage, I do it on Thursday to get a lot of information to give out to WODprep and to my athletes. And so I kind of approach it as I'm going to be good enough to make it to the next stage, and that's all that I care about. I don't like to put pressure on performing them overly perfect or like over strategizing. I used to make it like a really, really big deal, right? When it was, when the open was different, and it was all about like where your open placing was. So I do it Thursday as soon as I can, as soon as we're done kind of like exchanging all of our information in WODprep. And then I do it, and then that kind of helps me create the strategy that we give to all of our WODprep athletes and all my one-on-one athletes as well. So that's kind of how I do it. And then I have like a little human at home, and we do social things on the weekends now. So I can't, like, Friday night lights or like doing it Saturday or whatever, just not, it's not an option anymore. So
and how old is little Bennett now?
Bennett's almost 4 months. He'll be 4 months on the 9th. He's doing
It's
so great.
exciting.
And then Charleh, just for a quick fact check, double unders and toes to bar, double unders and thrusters have been in every open. Toes to bar have been in every open except last year. And burpees are the 4th, and then it's chest to bar. Technically, the muscle up thing, bar muscle ups and ring muscle ups are a completely different movement pattern. So you're not the same. So those are the 5. It's okay. I forget you.
Fine. Well,
all right, Charleh, tell us what's your plan.
For this year, I'm going for it. In the past, I've either had ACL surgeries or sickness or traveling. But last year, I made it my number one goal that I was going to get through the open, see what the best score I could get, and go for it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the quarterfinals. So this is my primary one goal, and then see what I can go for, see what numbers I can hit, basically. And of course, the 2 movements I really want to see is pretty much 20.4, which is the pistols, and it is the heavy cleans. Like, if they did a repeat of that, then like.
And that would also ensure that CJ does not beat me in every workout. So I agree with that notion.
We'll see. I'm getting out of the 275 barbell if it's a clean this year, guaranteed. And you're not getting to the 315. You ain't got it yet. So I got a chance.
Move 275 so easily.
Don't worry, guys. You're still gonna catch me up. It's fine.
Yeah, you're not. You're in a whole other league. You hang power clean what me and Ben hang power clean, or what I hang power clean, and almost what Ben hang power cleans. So it's fine. It's fine. My movement. Probably like dumbbell snatch probably won't show up, but high volume dumbbell snatches or high volume deadlifts are like my little weak human superpower, and I don't get that back blow up or anything like that, or double unders, I suppose. High volume snatches and double unders, that'd be money.
I mean, I'm kind of jealous. I'm in the Ben camp. My back blows up. It's not fair. We're gonna start wrapping it up. Is there any final things about what you predict with the open, you think about the open? Any tips, top tactics for beginners, particularly venturing into this world, this madness, crazy world for the first time? What is in one line, what would you say? How can you help?
Most people absolutely freak out when it goes 3, 2, 1, go, and there's a crowd around them. They will hit workouts at a pace that is so much faster than their ability levels. It's mind-blowing. I specifically remember coaching an athlete who said that they could only do 10 toes to bar, and it was a workout in Japan, and I'm judging them. And I was like, hey, you should do singles. Like you can do 10. And I've seen you, like I would just do singles in this. And she's like, all right, got it. Singles. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. All the entire first set unbroken. Did not, was it a smooth unbroken? No, it was toes to the bar. Swing, 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 swing. Toes to the bar. Swing, swing, swing. Never dropped from the bar. Absolute implosion, right? Complete, like just went, don't panic. That's it. That's my tip. Don't panic.
I have been in that camp. I have been there, and it does not end well. Savannah?
Mine's very similar. I think you really need to be honest with yourself and your abilities and smart with your choices so that you don't implode. Because basically same advice, because you just see it so many times and it doesn't end well. But if you can really be honest with where you are, make a really smart plan for who you are, not who you think you are.
Yeah, I think all of our advices are pretty similar. Like mine is setting appropriate expectations, right? In the workout Ben is referencing is the toe to bar double under clean workout, and I think everyone made the mistake because it was 25 toes to bar. I mean, everybody. It didn't matter. I did it. I was like,
singles,
yeah, my
baby,
max unbroken is
singles.
20, and then I hit a PR at 25. Yeah, everyone did that. Or like any thruster workout in the first set, thrusters always feel good when you start, and they never feel good at the end of 8 minutes, right? They just don't. And so setting expectations, I think, is good. And then, if this is fun, like Charlie said earlier, this is a hobby, right? There are only a handful of people in the world that this is their job. Okay. And that's even athletes at the games. There's only a handful of games athletes that this is truly their job. That a lot of people want it to be their job, but there's only a few that can really say that. So like when they have a bad day, like it affects their pocket. Most of them, it doesn't. For you listening, unless Mal, if you're listening, it's not you, but it's everyone else. It's fine. It's gonna be okay. I swear.
Yeah. So mine's a little bit different. So back in the UK, obviously here we have a little bit of a ritual, and this isn't just to the Open. This is if you're doing any local competition, in-house competition. We have a little thing where the night before we get a nice carby meal. I mean, if we're really having fun, we have a nice takeaway.
Everybody, that's fast food for those who missed that. Takeaway is fast food.
Takeout. Yeah, takeaway is not an American term. It's okay.
Oh dear Lord. You got it. So yeah, we have what fast food? Fast food. Yeah. Anyway, fast food. But then we'll have like one beer or one wine. Like you can't go past that limit, by the way. It has to be one. But it's the point that you have a really nice carby meal and you have one drink and you can have a non-alcoholic drink as well, and that's it. Yeah, but you feel good. Like you feel you get. You make sure you've had a good meal, a good sleep. You go into it feeling refreshed, and you're energized to go into the workout.
Y'all, I just want to make it clear that every coach, nutrition advice on getting ready for a workout says the exact opposite. Don't change anything.
And also,
Charlie's like, we're gonna eat
do not
shitty,
consume
and
alcohol
we are
prior.
going
like
to have
that is like
alcohol.
the one thing to avoid at all costs, like leading it up to the Open is alcohol.
This is the best advice ever. But okay, so to defend Charlie, if you've always done that before a competition, then it's okay.
You just don't want to go into it after a long day at work and only hadn't had a salad throughout the day because it's been really busy, really stressful, and then you just got to think about all these extra stress of the Open on top of that. Like it just ruins the fun of it all. You might as well go in and haven't had your favorite foods and your favorite drink and just see what happens then.
I'd say to wrap things up, obviously WODprep is very, very heavily invested in the Open. We are a company that kind of bases our entire year of business around this event of the Open. Like, we help you get your skills for the Open so that you can do really well, but we also really focus on helping athletes during the Open with obviously lots of free content that you can get online. But we also have lots of behind the scenes coaching that you can pay for to get access to the likes of the people on this call. So if you're interested in any of that, go to WODprep.com, and I'm sure there'll be a big banner of some sort telling you what to do and how to join one of our paid coaching programs. And yeah, obviously, stay tuned on YouTube, Instagram. Those are the two main ones where a lot of our content's going to be coming out. But if you're not on it already, be sure to go to WODprep.com and sign up for the email list. It's totally free to sign up for. And that's where you're going to get basically like the full breakdown of all of our Open strategy, including links to all the videos. So you don't have to go searching for them. It kind of is like, here's all of our resources in one place. So if you want that, just go to WODprep.com or WODprep.com/open. I'm sure that URL exists somewhere, and sign up to be on the newsletter so that you don't miss any of the juicy coaching bits.
All right. On that note, goodbye.